Hello.
Hey, how's everybody doing today?
Hey, everybody. It's a great day.
Yes.
Hey, if you get a chance, please look at our video that we just did about black pastors. That's coming on. And Sam Desalu is already here. That is really cool. It's so good to see everybody. Let's see. There we go. Hello, hello, hello. It's great to see you. Hi, Sam. How you doing?
Okay, Sam.
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Fine, fine.
So where are you? Are you in the States or in Uganda? Where are you?
I'm in Seattle at the moment.
Oh, Seattle. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's always rainy there.
It's raining right now.
That's a little hard. I heard they have problems sometimes with depression because of in Seattle because it's so kind of gloomy.
Yeah, it's very gloomy out here. It's actually, they call Seattle the London of America because it's just rainy, gloomy. And Seattle has the highest suicide rate in America.
Yeah.
Really?
It's depressing here.
Yeah, so we'll be praying for you then. Are you living there right now?
Yeah, this is where I'm currently at now with my wife Sarah and my son Josiah.
Okay.
Okay, great.
All right. Well, that's cool. Well, we've written a little something for you. Basically, we took it from your bio, but just so everybody can know a little bit about you, you are a philanthropist, an entrepreneur. You're Nigerian born, but raised in America. Mm-hmm. Sam Desalu, or I'm saying it the Haitian way, I should say it Desalu. Chartering a path few would believe from your meager beginnings. You serving as an Airbnb host, a partner in a hair salon with his sister, a restaurateur in Uganda, and finally a creator and developer of a brand of natural skin products. And that's something I really want to dig into. Desalu Naturals with an associate philanthropic work as giving back to less fortunate women and girls in Africa as well.
He'll tell us more about that.
So he'll tell us more about that. Please welcome everybody, someone that's new to us. So we're all going to be introduced to Sam together at the same time. Mr. Sam Desalu.
Desalu.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you. So he wants to say Desalu.
Yeah.
No, it's all good. It's all good. I always pronounce it correctly, though.
Yeah. No, it's correct. Just Desalu. It's correct. Yeah.
Okay.
Desalu. Yes. What kind of name is that from? What language is that?
So I'm Nigerian by birth, and the tribe I'm from is called Yoruba. So my last name is Yoruba. Yeah, but it has a French background to it.
Okay.
Yeah. French there.
Yeah, I was hearing all that kind of stuff. So
just a quick, what was the tribe again?
Yoruba.
Yoruba.
Is that the largest tribe in Nigeria?
One of the largest. So the two largest tribes in Nigeria, the three largest tribes in Nigeria are Yoruba, Igbo, and Hausa.
Okay.
Now, for me, when we've been to Africa a number of times, but some people, tell me how you feel about this. Some people don't like being called tribes. They call it ethnic groups. So I got to the point where some places like in South Africa, I don't like to say tribes unless they're cool with that. Otherwise, I'll say ethnic groups. What do you think about that?
It just depends. I mean, I'm very laid back, and like I'll tell somebody my tribe is Yoruba or my ethnic group. It just depends, It's like tomato, whatever you want.
Okay, yeah.
The context.
Because I didn't want to mess with anybody's sensitivities. You start learning, being an African American, that it's really important to try to be sensitive and say it right if you don't know. So.
Right.
But tell me about what got you from Nigeria to the U.S. As a kid. Let's talk a little bit about you as a kid and
your journey.
Yeah.
Well, my transition from Lagos, Nigeria to the States was definitely a blessing. So my sister and I, we had different fathers. And my sister's father, he's like he was a high-ranking immigration officer. And he's retired now. But he basically, brought me, my sister, and my mom to America. And he didn't have to bring me, but obviously he saw me as a son. and
Amen.
well, yeah.
That's beautiful. Now, I don't know how to broach the subject on this, but you said something that was so just struck me, and I was talking about it. Can you, I don't know if I'm going to say this right, but can you tell the story of how you were born with black eyes, with like, you know?
Oh,
I
so
hope I'm not delving too deep too fast, but.
Oh, so my father, him and I were actually building a relationship now. I've only, met him twice in my life.
Okay.
I think like I remember him vaguely when I was, younger. And then I remember meeting him when I was 15 years old, when my mom sent me back to Nigeria because I was bad. So,
yeah, people get sent back to their grandmother, man. That's something black folks all over the world do.
Yeah. So she sent me back, and then I met him when I was 15. But yeah, he was, verbally abusive to my mother, physically abusive. He was battling with like alcohol back then, but he's reformed now.
Thank God.
And he was very abusive, and my mom told me that, like prior to her giving birth to me, they had got into it, and he put his hands on her, and then like when I was born, they said I had like black eyes, and I was like, wow.
Like you being battered as well. I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow.
Well, I don't.
But I guess the story, the good part of the story is that he's reformed.
Correct. Yeah, he's reformed.
And now you are developing a relationship with him, and that's a good thing because a lot of us have a bad beginning and a bad end, and so we like having a good end, and that's a good thing.
Yeah. He's definitely a changed man. I mean, he's a pastor now, which is amazing.
What?
Oh,
yeah, he's a pastor. He's done like various mission trips to different countries, preaching and helping the less fortunate. And it's so weird that it's like that's what I do now, right? Travel to different countries, help those in need. And I didn't even know that until recently. So it's just kind of like coincidence that what he did is what I'm now doing.
Wow, that's really amazing. So this journey, you end up a little Nigerian kid in Chicago. And so what happens then? I guess we're asking these questions, and like we tell people, we don't interview, we kiki on the phone.
Right.
And I'm trying to find out how you got from, this kid in Nigeria to the U.S. to being an entrepreneur. I want to know this journey, because so many times people have excuses. I can't do this and I can't do this because this happened to me and that happened to me.
Right.
Why are you like that?
Well, so, I mean, the transition, to being an entrepreneur, how can I explain this? Growing up in America, obviously, I was always different. Like when you first come from like, African country to the States, like you're always like the black sheep, right? The oddball. Forgive me, let me just check on myself. Yeah, give me one. Yeah. Let me grab him real quick.
Right.
Go get your man.
Hold
And
on.
we'll just keep talking.
Right.
And if you guys have some questions that you want to ask Mr. Desalu about skincare or whatever,
Yes.
Pastor Tim, hi. Please let us know. We told him he could talk to us while he has his baby, because that's real talk, and he's watching the baby right now. So he'll be look at
he said,
that. Oh my God, what's that baby's name?
Yeah, so this is my son Josiah.
Josiah.
Oh,
Yeah.
so cute.
Yeah.
Here's the doll. So
Thank you.
You've got a lot of incentive, but you've just done so well as an entrepreneur, and I'm wondering what that mindset is, so we could share it with the people. How does that happen?
I mean, the entrepreneurial mindset. I believe everybody has it. It's just up to one to take that leap of faith, right? To really pursue it. Because I genuinely believe that like everybody's an entrepreneur at heart, right? Everybody
Do
wants.
you think?
Yeah, I believe so. But it's not many that really take that leap of faith, right? To really pursue that path. Like, for example, a lot of people are comfortable, right? They rather not face the unknown, right? And deal with what's, secure, right? Like the 9 to 5. They have a consistent paycheck. But for me, I never liked working for anybody. the longest I ever kept a job was like 6 months because I just felt like I don't like being told what to do. Not that I'm, you know, I'm like a rebel or anything like that, right? But I'd rather spend time, you know, I'd rather spend time doing what, like putting time towards what I love as opposed to somebody else, you know, like build their dream, right? And obviously I understand, you know, as a believer, right, we have to serve under others, right? You know, but you know, for me, it's just like I felt like God placed a lot of things in my heart for me to do, and if I'm spending time here, you know, building, you know, helping this person build their vision, I'm not, you know, allocating any time to mine, right? Because by the time you get off work, you're tired, and you know, you don't have any time to do anything else. So I believe everybody has an entrepreneurial, you know, like mindset. It's just a few of us that really step out on faith and really do it.
So what was your first entrepreneurial venture then? Yeah.
Man, so my first entrepreneurial venture, like I kind of stumbled on. It wasn't even like on purpose. So when I left Chicago in 2009, I moved to New York, and you know, I had no plan whatsoever. You know, I think I mentioned this to you guys. Like my mom, she bought me a ticket to New York City, and she paid for me to stay in a hostel for 2 weeks, right? And she was like, "You got 2 weeks to figure it out." And I was like, "Okay, cool. You know, I'll make it happen." And you know, within
2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Like as soon as I touched down in New York City, like the first thing I did was just like, you know, drop my bags in the hostel, and I started, you know, looking for jobs, right? Because I had like my resumes.
What is a hostel really? What is
a hotel?
It's like a hotel.
So a hostel is like a hotel, but like you share rooms with other people. They're really popular in Europe for like backpackers, right? You know, so you save a lot of money. It's not like something where, you know, like you and your husband will go and be like, oh, you know what I'm saying? Like you're sharing rooms with other people. Your stuff really isn't safe, you know? Yeah.
Showers, the whole bit, right?
Yeah, man, you share everything. But, you know, for me, I was really, you know, hungry, you know what I'm saying, to just get out there and pursue something. So I didn't really care, you know, where I was staying, you know, as long as I had a roof over my head. And that's all that really mattered.
But your mama, I mean, that's something that mothers have to do sometimes. And some of us baby our kids, I think, too much. But sometimes you got to say, you got to go. You got 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So what did you do?
So I got lucky. So not even like maybe 3-4 days into the 2 weeks, my aunt, right, that she lives in Far Rockaway, Queens, she finds out from my grandmother that, you know, I'm in New York City and I'm staying in a hostel. So she comes and gets me, right? And, you know, the funny story is like my aunt and my mom don't have the best relationship, right? So when she came to get me, I was surprised. Wow. So she comes to get me, you know, she takes me all the way to the boondocks in Far Rockaway, Queens, which is like an hour outside the city. And I'm like, okay, cool. I don't have to worry about, you know, sharing a room with other people like I'm with family. But the crazy thing is, you know, every morning she woke me up at like 5 a.m. to be out the house by like 7 to go look for a job, right? Which I did. But
she wasn't playing.
Yeah, she wasn't playing either. So which I did with no problems. But then, you know, eventually she ended up kicking me out. And it wasn't because I did anything wrong. It's because her and my mom tried to, like, I guess, rekindle their relationship. But in the process, they couldn't come to like a common ground. And I was the recipient of like her anger, where she's like, okay, me and your mom are getting along. You gotta go. So, you know, so I was in a hostel in Chelsea, like, you know, in Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
Now I gotta find another hostel to stay in, right? So I'm Googling hostels. So I end up in Harlem, and I didn't know too much about Harlem at all. I just only from what I saw in movies. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna like step out on faith and go to Harlem, right? Because, you know, I'm from Chicago, like the south suburbs, but you know, to me in my mind at that time, I'm thinking like Harlem is like the south side of Chicago, right? So I'm like, it's gonna be crazy.
Harlem are gorgeous.
Yeah, but Harlem is beautiful now, totally different.
Yeah, totally different now.
Totally different. But yeah, I ended up finding a job, and I was actually working 2 jobs. And I literally had to put my pride to the side, right? Because at that time I was like 22 years old. So the first job I had got was at AMC Theaters in Times Square, 42nd Street. Yeah. So, you know, I'm 22 years old thinking like I should be here, but you know, I had to humble myself. So like I'm popping popcorn, cleaning theaters, you know, making hot dogs, doing everything I need to do to basically stay in New York City, right? Because my mom was like, yo, I ain't got nothing for you. You know what I'm saying? And, Yeah, and then my second job, I ended up at Zara in Soho on Broadway, and that was actually a little bit better, right? Because I had a nice suit as a uniform. You know, I'm connecting with people and meeting people. So during that process, you know, I was assisting like, you know, different stylists, and I met a girl that I was kind of, you know, feeling at the time, and she was interning at BET. And the lady she was interning for, you know, I guess I found favor in her eyes because she was like, yo, there's something about you. You're an amazing young man. I would love to help you any way I can. Like, what can I do for you? What do you want to do?
Praise God.
And I was like, I mean, I'm down for whatever. So she was like, would you like an internship at BET? I was like, yeah. And I was like, it's only God because they only give internships to, you know, students, right? And I'm far removed from school. So I got an internship in the wardrobe department. And now, you know, I'm assisting stylists that are really, really experienced in the industry. Like one of them, his name was Mike B. And at that time, he was working with like the biggest artists, you know, Chris Brown, Ludacris, Swiss Beats. And in addition to like working with, you know, Terrence J and Roxy, outside of BET, I'm working with him, you know, like styling Chris Brown and all the other projects that he's doing. So to be honest with you, like in the midst of all that, you know, I got the gift of gab. So I'm networking, meeting people. And I land my first client, right? And my first client was Genuine, which is crazy. Yeah.
That's your first client.
Yeah, my first client was Genuine, and he had like a new album coming out, so he was doing press. So I styled him for, you know, some of the press stops that he had, which was pretty dope. And then from there, you know, I just kind of did a lot of networking to where like I did work with like Ryan Leslie and assisting other stylists, right? Because at that time, like the styling game was really big, like really on point, really busy. So I'm being called on to help, you know, different stylists. Hey, we're on.
He talks. He's fine. He's in the conversation.
Yeah. But yeah, it got really busy. But you know, and then in the midst of that too, I caught a blessing. So there was a photographer named Ricardo, Haitian, as well. Yeah. He lived in Harlem, and Ricardo, man, he's a super cool dude, photographer. And I met him randomly when I was in the subway because I had bags with me. And he's like, are you a stylist? And at that time, you know, I didn't really call myself that, but I was like, you know, if you want to call me that, you know, you can. So him and I, we start to rap, and then he tells me, man, where do you live? And at the time, I was kind of ashamed to say, right, that like, you know, I'm living in a hostel. But he was like, hey, I got an apartment in Harlem. You know, check it out. You know, I'm looking to rent it out. If you like it, you know, it's yours for $1,000, right?
What?
Yeah, so Ricardo, you said what?
You got angels around you.
Man, it was a blessing. So Ricardo, man, he's a super cool dude. So his fiance at the time, she's like millionaire living in Tribeca, crazy loft. So he's good. So he wanted to rent out his apartment. So I go to the apartment. The crazy thing is, the hostel where I was staying at was on 128th. No, I'm sorry, it was on 128th in Lenox, right? Yeah. And the apartment that I ended up getting blessed with was on 129th in Lenox, just down the street.
Right around the corner.
Right around the corner. And what's so crazy was like,
ran you over, huh?
Man, it's crazy. And the crazy thing about it is rent was only $1,000, right? $1,000 at the time in New York City. So it was a 2-bedroom apartment.
What?
Fully furnished because he left all his furniture in there, and he was like, yo, just pay me $1,000 every month and it's yours. So it's just like, that was a really big blessing going from staying in a hostel to a 2-bedroom apartment to myself, you know. And you know, the Nigerian in me, I'm a hustler, so the second bedroom I was renting out. So I was I was like, damn near living free, you know. Yeah. But you know, rooms in New York City are super expensive, you know.
No, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, so I finessed it.
We were playing no $1,500 even back then.
Yeah.
So I mean, so then what happens all of a sudden?
So
the first venture.
Yeah, so you know, the first client, Genuine, fast forward, I'm assisting another stylist, and he gets a call that, hey, you know, I got Tyrese as a client for you. So we're not working with Tyrese. And then something happened, but you know, the stylist no longer was working with Tyrese. And because, you know, his team, you know, they liked me, they asked me, like, would you want to take over? And I was like, yeah, for sure.
I mean, did you have a background in clothing or stuff?
No, I had no background. Just favor. I had no background.
You got to look at people like this. God is the wonder. He touches you because that's all off. You know that, right?
Yeah, because I had no prior background at all. But no prior background. But yeah, so I started working with Tyrese, and it got to the point where they wanted me to work full time. So Tyrese, they asked me to move to LA, so I moved to LA in 2013. So I'm working with Tyrese, and that was like my first entrepreneur venture.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
Hey. Sorry, you want to say hi?
Say hi.
baby. Oh, you want to talk? You want to say what you want to do? Okay, you want to be part of the conversation?
Yeah. I'm gonna put him down real quick. He just wants to play with his toys. 1 second.
All right. Okay. Well, we understand all that. We're parents, right? I saw Lucinda, so I'm saying hi, Lucinda. Hi, Jazzy, Bits. Hi, Lady Lana. I saw my sister Kelly. Oh, there's my grandmother Sheila.
Oh, hi.
And hi, how you doing?
Yes.
JD Wilson. We've got Vitamin Foods Inc. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, he is beautiful, Jazz.
He's gorgeous.
Look, we've got lots of good people on. So anyway, we're talking to Sam Desalu from Africa. One of the big things we want to talk to him is about
Nigeria.
what did I say?
No, Africa's too.
Oh yeah, okay,
That's
as Africa, but it's the whole continent, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we're talking about the country of Nigeria.
Yeah.
So okay, all of a sudden, did this whole thing with you working with women in Africa and that whole thing come first, or was it the skincare? Which one?
So, by the way, my good friend Gregory is on the live.
Okay.
I agree.
So the philanthropy work that I do came first, and that prompted me to want to start the skincare brand. So that came about because in 2016 I was doing some work in Kampala, Uganda, which is a country in East Africa, and I was volunteering at a HIV clinic called Alive Medical Services, and it was owned by a Nigerian husband and wife.
Oh.
And they were giving me a tour of the facilities, and in one of the rooms, I saw women, with sewing machines making pads, and I asked them,
What kind of pads? What do you mean by pads?
Oh, reusable sanitary pads.
Okay.
Yeah. So they told me, oh yeah, they're making reusable sanitary pads, and I was like, wow, I've never heard of that before, because here in America, when women start their menstrual cycle, they just go to Walgreens, CVS, or wherever and get what they need, and then that's it, right?
So they're making the pads, and then they have to wash them and reuse them.
Correct. Yeah. So when I saw that, I was kind of
faces, because that would be wrong, but I do kind of think to myself,
yeah,
that's rough, that's hard.
Yeah, so the ones they were making were like really poor quality, but the ones that we actually give out now are like 100 times better than.
So how did that happen? You saw these sanitary napkins that they were making, and what did your head say? What did yours?
So when I saw that, I immediately just thought about my mother and my sister, like what they would have to do if they couldn't afford the proper menstrual products. So that just kind of like something in me, just felt like I need to do something. And at that time, I feel like people were tired of me asking, for donations. It's like, bro, we just gave to your last initiative. Like, give us a little break, So I decided to start a social business, right? A business that's non-reliant on donations and fully self-sufficient on, the products we sell, to in turn give us funds to be able to buy these reusable sanitary pads and give them out to women and young girls.
So you got stylist work, and then you were doing this entrepreneurial thing. You went to Uganda.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot in between that.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like,
okay. Okay, so you ended up in Uganda. Okay.
Yeah, it's a lot in between that. Like, I was even like managing soccer players in Europe for a little bit. I lived in London for a bit.
Yeah, you know what? Like they say, Haitians have a zillion different jobs. They're working hard. I got and Jamaicans and Haitians. Yes, Nigerians too. There's just a hustle spirit of work to make something happen.
Yeah.
So you're looking at these women making these napkins and saying there's a need here.
Yeah.
So what, you got people to donate?
What he's defining what he calls social entrepreneur. So tell us about that.
Yeah.
Entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So social entrepreneurship. So I have a social business. And basically what we do is just it's called conscious consumerism, right? Where we're selling a product, in return to be able to create funds to help the social issues we're trying to find solutions to. So what I did was I came back to the States and I did a little bit of research, and I realized like the skincare industry is $1 billion industry, and in my mind I'm like, I just need 1 billion, right? I just need 1 billion. So that's when I came up with Desalu Naturals, a skincare brand. And while developing the products, I partnered with a company called AfroPads. They're actually based in Uganda, and what they do is they make reusable sanitary pads, but not like the the cheap ones that I saw the women making. These are really high quality pads where they last up to 2 years. And basically, for instance, now do I have one with me? I actually have one with me.
I want to see it.
Yeah.
I want to see it because this is. I mean, just the thought. I never thought of not being able to get sanitary pads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they're called AfroPads.
Can you take one out? Is that?
Yeah, for sure. I can show you.
You think that's horrible? Now I want to. Yeah. I hope you guys aren't grossed out. Are you all right with that? Because I want to see it.
Yeah, I mean, to many, to people who live in America and like other, well-developed countries, you might think like, okay, that's disgusting, right? But
I don't think it's disgusting. I think I don't have the exposure, and
I mean, because for a woman, the average salary for somebody living in poverty in Africa is like $50, right? And I mean, with that $50, you got to pay for food, water, school supplies sometimes. I'm sorry?
$50 a month or a year?
A month.
Okay. Okay, yeah.
A month. Yeah. So this is actually one of the pads. So the kit I just opened up is a schoolgirl kit. So these ones are given to schoolgirls, right? And they come with 2 regular pads for like during the day. So let's say, for instance, now a girl leaves, she leaves home with one of these on. And then when she gets to school and, during the day when it gets full, she'll excuse herself and she'll put the used one in this pouch.
Amazing.
Yeah.
You as a man
have done this.
Got this in your head.
That's you're amazing.
That's okay.
Oh, thank you.
That's why people dogging men and dogging women and dogging. You shouldn't do that because you are a African man and you have the foresight to see that. So go on with this thing.
So the girl will excuse herself and she'll put the used one in the pouch and then put on the other one. And then they have these for at night, right? Because again, I had to do a lot of learning. So this is a bigger pad, right? So this is for heavier flow at night.
Yeah.
Wow.
I guess women, it flows harder at night, so you need a bigger pad. Yeah. So basically, what she does now when she gets home, she takes the used pads and you have to soak them in water for like 15 minutes.
Wow.
Because when it soaks for 15 minutes, the material on the inside like opens up, right, and releases the blood into the water where they can now wash it, hang it, and use it again. So these last for 2 years. They might be able to last longer, but it just depends on how hard the person washes. And we all know, like Africans, Haitians, Jamaicans, they be washing super hard. It just depends. But this is a better solution than a young girl or a woman having to use foam from a mattress, old clothes. And like the sad thing about it that really broke my heart is, women and girls sometimes have to prostitute themselves to be able to afford pads for their menstrual cycle, right? Because it gets really bad. And then, girls, they don't end up going to school and end up dropping out, which leads to early child labor and early, pregnancy.
Oh, because when they're on their period, they don't have pads.
And they can't go to school, right?
These are just things I haven't thought about.
Yeah. But these are actually really good because what's crazy? So I've done a few pop-ups in the States and, I only have these on display just to show people like, hey, when you buy this, I'm able to give this out, right? But women ask to buy these. And I'm just like, really? And I've actually heard that, they're really good, from what I've heard. So, yeah.
So
my mind is just blown.
Right. So the product line you created was Desalu Naturals, which is a skincare, and you put this together, and basically when you buy, one piece, or what do you buy to enable you to give away a pad?
So my products are here, and mind you, I didn't have these here displayed just randomly behind me. But
Break it down for us.
so right now we have 4 products. We have our base is shea butter, right? Because shea butter is like one of the best, bases for skincare that there is, right? You'll find out that a lot of brands have these included in their ingredients. But we sell these, and what we do is we take a percentage of quarterly profits, and we use that to buy pads. So basically anybody can call on us, right? For instance, now let's say you have a school in Zambia, right? And you're like, hey, Desalu Naturals, we have 60 girls that are in need of menstrual pads. I will make it, a priority of my own to be like, hey, this school in Zambia needs 60 pads. So towards the end of the quarter, we know where we're sending these pads to make sure these girls, get what they need. So we're on call pretty much, and it's not just Africa, it's anywhere in the world.
That's what I was going to say.
So you sell
Even
these
here, even in the U.S.
Yeah.
But you sell these products not only in the U.S., but you sell them in Africa as well too, or they're just primarily sold in the U.S.?
So our brand is, is still domestic, but by God's grace, we're looking to branch off internationally. So right now we're just in the States, but I've been getting people, asking, when are you coming to Tanzania with the products? When are you coming to this country? And I tell them, it's all in due time. You never want to rush the plan. But the work we do is, all over Africa. Because right now we've given out thousands of pads between Ethiopia, Rwanda, Uganda. We've done work in South Africa as well.
Oh, South Africa, okay.
South Africa as well, yeah. But the plan is to, help as many women and young girls as we can. We're even expanding, our social work to helping just, families in general. Because what we want to do is improve the lives of those, in need. So we obviously, we in the future, we want to be able to provide jobs, for men and women, right? And provide education for girls. So these are all things that we have plans for. So by God's grace, as we're growing and things are getting bigger and the company's expanding, we'll be able to do more of these things that we want.
Right. So do you do your own manufacturing, or you source it out and they?
Well, so in the beginning, I did. I started this in my mom's kitchen. Shout out to my mom, because she had a studio apartment in LA, because she's only out there for work. So she got something small. But
your mom is a nurse?
Yeah, my mom's a registered nurse, correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. She specializes in dialysis. So, when she's away at work, I'm in her kitchen, making shea butters. And, I thank God for her for believing, because, obviously having a place to make the products was important. And then I expanded, so from my mom's kitchen, my sister, her salon in Chicago, she had 2 back rooms that she blessed me with. So I started, making the products there, right? I had more room because the demand started to grow. So instead of, 1 to 2, 3 orders, a month, I'm getting hundreds of orders a month, right? So I have to increase, the size of the pots, and everything else.
Okay.
So we recently just, I'm sorry?
So the shea comes from these, from a plant? It's
a shea nut. Yeah, a shea nut. And comes the nut from a tree, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So right now we're manufacturing our products now because the demand is just too high. We recently signed with a distribution company called Ultra Standard, based out of New Jersey. They're the #1 distributor of multicultural brands in the States.
Okay.
Yeah, we're in good company because they distribute Mild Organics, Shea Moisture, Palmer's, really big brands, right? So us being a vendor with them is a huge blessing, which I wasn't expecting at all.
Wow.
Because they can get you in a lot of outlets, a lot of outlets, right?
Yes. So Walmart, we actually got ourselves online because we're on Walmart.com. But right now, with the distribution that we have, we're all over the East Coast. So you can find our products in New York City, in Pennsylvania, in Florida, and we're in Texas as well for right now. And we're going to be in Inglewood pretty soon in California.
That sounds great. Let's talk a little bit about skin.
Okay, yes.
I know a lot of women just really, like myself, care about the skin. Now, I wanted to ask you a question. This is Vicki getting messy.
Uh-huh.
It says that one of your creams is good for anti-aging and all that.
Uh-huh.
I don't believe in anti-aging. I mean, I don't. I think you age the way you age. Could I be wrong? I don't.
No,
think
you definitely age the way you age. I mean, I don't believe there's anything like anti-aging, but you could definitely like, I would say slow down the process, right? I mean, because it's all about how it's your lifestyle, right? How you eat, what you drink, what you intake, and then it's all about your skincare routine as well too, like what you do to maintain your skin. Because I mean, I have friends that are turning the young lady behind you, like I have friends who are turning 40 that look like they're 20 years old because of how, they take care of themselves, what they eat, what they drink. So, I mean, I'm not saying that our products, will, reverse back the time, Benjamin Button or nothing like that, but, it'll definitely help the skin, you keep your skin, it protects you from like these, environmental stressors that, are around, like the winds are harsh, that affects your skin, different things.
So, I mean, I also noticed that your products, I haven't tried it yet, but I'm going to try it. And I'm going to let everybody know what I think about it because I'm always looking for...
Just like right here. I'm sorry.
Baby?
Yeah.
It's getting a little funny.
One second.
All right, so we go get him. Go get him. That's all right. Hey, Jazzy, I see you talking about skin, and Ladybug just joined us. And do you guys have any questions about skin? I want to, one of my favorite subjects, since I'm a chocolate girl, I like to talk about colorism.
We're going to talk about it.
Oh, yeah, he needs that bottle. That's right. Yeah. Okay. I am not mad at you, brother. Now, one of the things I've been concerned about is this whole thing of colorism, especially in Africa, where women are bleaching their skin. And I watched something online the other day where there are women with burns all over their body and things like that. What is your thoughts about all of that going on, especially in Africa? It's here too, but in Africa, it's Asia and Asian countries is huge.
And so bleaching of the skin to me is it's an epidemic. I feel like it's like, I mean, I used to say like, to each his own, like do what you do. But then when you look deeper, beneath the surface, you realize it's like a lack of self-love, right? Because, the media will show you like, oh, being lighter is better, being more fair complexion. I mean, I even suffered from it a little bit. I mean, I didn't bleach myself or nothing, but, growing up,
you have beautiful dark skin.
Thank you. But, growing up, coming straight from Africa, like I have an accent, I'm darker than all the black kids, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I was teased, right? To the point where there were some times where I was like, man, I wish I was light skinned, because like if I was light skinned, I wouldn't be called Hershey bar or Snicker bar or different things like that, right? And that affects you growing up because, until like, I wouldn't say until recently, but, for a long time, I was like, I lacked a lot of like self-esteem, right? I was affected by, all the teasing until I really felt, like my identity in Christ and realized like, hey, this is who I am. This was who I'm meant to be. Like, I'm perfect, right? In God's eyes.
That's right.
And but a lot of people haven't realized that yet, to the point where they're now like, oh, I want to bleach my skin. And I mean, I don't judge anybody, but I don't think it's right. And I wish people really see themselves for who they really are, and yeah, but it's an epidemic. I mean, I know in Africa, I know a lot of Nigerian women, they bleach their skin. You can tell because their hands are like fair complexion and their knuckles are black,
Knuckles. All right, yeah. I noticed we went to this really posh store, like a Bloomingdale's or something in South Africa. It's small, and they had this huge area for makeup. And there was nothing but bleaching creams in there. It freaked me out so bad. I was like, why are you guys doing this? I mean, just there had to be 10 or 15 different types of bleaching creams in this huge store. So now with your skin products, what do they do? Tell us a little bit about what your skin products do.
So shea butter is an amazing. It's an amazing. It's amazing. It's a gift from God, to be honest with you. It does a lot. It helps with like acne, psoriasis, eczema, hyperpigmentation, and different things. And what we do is we infuse them with like natural and essential oils to boost the benefits of them. So, I mean, I've gotten loads of DMs and text messages from, really happy people saying like, yo, I love your product, right? It's amazing. Especially women who are about to give birth or have given birth said, hey, we've used your products, during our second and third trimester and got no stretch marks. Like, this is an amazing product.
Amazing.
Like, we're like the go-to like shea butter for like Christmas gifts now, because like around this time, you'll see people placing orders of like, 8 to 10 butters, and then they'll leave a note like, oh, these are Christmas gifts for family, stockings.
Right.
It makes me happy. And, people, they not only, buy the product because it's a good product, but obviously, we're helping, women as well in young girls in Africa.
Well, I want to know a real important question though.
Yes.
Now, if your product can do this, I'm good with it. Does it really help with ash?
Yeah.
I have been dressed to the and gone out and looked at my feet and legs, and they look like a gray fabric or something.
I guess the real question related to ash is, how long does it keep the ash away?
Yeah.
No, so our shea butters keep you moisturized all day. Because it's thick.
Oh, okay.
It's thick. Because the difference between like, a moisturizer and like a lotion, like a lotion is very watery, right? So you putting lotion on top of skin that has like a water base to it, of course you're gonna get ashy, right? But when you have a real moisturizer where the base is, a shea butter, it lasts, like a lot longer.
I never thought about that, because but I gotta do something about this ash, because he's right. I'll go out, I'll take my bath, dry off, put on maybe some lotion or whatever, go out, and honey, if there was the ash police, I would be arrested. Oh man,
doctors love our product. Doctors and nurses have sworn by our butters too, because doctors and nurses, especially now, they wash their hands a lot. So they complain about, dry skin.
Yeah.
So I've had, nurses like, take a picture of the product and tag us, on social media and be like, yo, this is an amazing product. I'm recommending it to all my friends. So right now we're even in the process of trying to create a pocket size shea butter that and doctors can put in their scrubs. Because, right now we got 8 ounces, so it's kind of like heavy. So that's more portable. And then one thing I found out too, nobody really checks bags in. Nobody checks bags in anymore, right? Like everybody's like packing light, carry-ons and book bags. So a lot of people DM me like, yo, they threw my butter away at TSA. And I'm like, oh man, that sucks.
Oh man, but now how do they smell? Do they smell good?
Yeah, so we have 2 that have no scent. Okay. And those are the shea butter with the hemp seed and argan oil, and then the shea butter with avocado, almond, and coconut. So those don't have any scent, but the ones that are really popular are the lavender and the eucalyptus. Those are really popular.
Okay. Okay, yeah, because I like a certain scents or no scents, because I'm a scent person. Period. I wear perfume all the time, and all that.
Now, right now, unless you're on the East Coast, primarily, you have to order your product online.
Yes,
we're in Inglewood. We can't get it in Inglewood.
So we're available on Amazon, and everybody nowadays, it's 2021. Everybody has a Prime membership, so we're available on Amazon, and Amazon has like that same day shipping sometimes, or even next day. Just depending on like, if they have a fulfillment center close by. We're also available on Walmart.com as well too. So if you want to purchase on Walmart.com.
I'm gonna have to get some and check it out.
This is what, we'll check it out.
Ash prevention.
Ash, that's my thing. Take care of the ash, because I don't know if there's anything you can do about these wrinkles and stuff that are coming, but
that's not what shea butter does.
They ain't found nothing for that, but these surgeries, and then that can turn out, you can be like a stunt for a while like that.
But see, like for me, like when I believe wrinkles are like a sign of wisdom, right? The more you have, the more wisdom, I believe.
Yeah, I'm not with that program.
I was just trying to say something nice, you know.
Huh?
I was just trying to say something nice, you know.
Okay, I appreciate that. Thank you. God bless you, brother.
Yeah.
Trying to have the wrinkles. So
Jazzy Biz is breaking down, you know, dropping down some knowledge for us about
Yeah, no, shout out to Jassy. Like,
yeah, he's wonderful.
He's dropping gems.
Yeah, you should. You can find Jazzy Bits online.
So he said, do some neck exercise.
Yeah, I need to do something.
Do other benefits.
You know? Yeah, but what the other thing that gets me about you, and this just goes to show you all kinds of people are blessed, is that you went to college but didn't stay in college.
Yeah.
Went out on your own. Tell me about that, because you're doing all this stuff and it's not like you went to school for it per se. You just do it.
Yeah, so I mean, man, school was never really for me. Like before my mom sent me to Nigeria, right? Like my GPA was bad. You know, I was very athletic, you know, but like when it came to school, I just wasn't there, right? Not because I wasn't smart, I just didn't really apply myself. So when my mom sent me back to Nigeria, you know, and this is a country where they believe in corporal punishment, right, in schools. I had no choice but to, you know, like get on top of my A game and do my work.
Beat down, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. Because you know they care about you and your education in Africa, right? Where I feel like here in the States, it's like I'm gonna get paid regardless if you pass or not, right?
Yeah.
So I got beat a lot, you know, like my first couple of semesters before I really got it together and really focusing. Yeah, like they got they got in there.
I didn't know that. What, like they use a stick or something? Or
yeah, a long stick, and it's thin. Like the thinner the stick, the more it hurts.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So you can't spread the pain. You can't spread it out.
You can't spread the pain.
Focus, boom.
Exactly. But I mean, I thank God that my mom sent me back for those 2 years, because those 2 years really changed my life. Because I went to a Christian boarding school. So, you know, I gave my life to Christ when I was 15. And then, you know, when I came back to the States, they put me in all honors classes because, you know, like my test scores and my grades were like, you know, way advanced than, you know, a lot of the classes that they were going to put me in originally when I got back. And some of my teachers couldn't believe that it was me, because they were like, this can't be the kid that had like a...
Is this Sam?
Yeah, it can't be. Because, you know, I legit had like 1 point something GPA. Now I'm back and like, they're like, yo, how are you? How? I was like, they had to beat me. You know what I'm saying? to really get on top of my grades.
What you say about that? You don't want your kids to be beat, but
right.
some kind of
So now
discipline,
right.
To let people know that you gotta.
That's right.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's what it takes to
get you over the hump. I'm not for that.
But that's
I'm
right.
Not for it. But
that's
I mean, in Africa and the other countries.
But they didn't have to beat me, because
Your teachers?
No, my parents.
Oh well, yeah, parents. A lot of black folks.
But I was going to say that, you know, you did the naturals, the skincare, solid naturals, but then you've done some other things too as well to kind of support this philanthropic effort, and you know, you have a restaurant in Uganda.
Yeah, the restaurant's closed down now. Yeah.
So tell us about that. That's working for you.
Oh, so I started the restaurant in 2018, and we were open for like a little over a year. And man, I miss it. But you know, I was telling you guys earlier that you know, like when God gives you a vision, it doesn't mean that vision's gonna come to pass immediately, right? You know, there's things that He needs to like instill in you, you know, build in you, you know what I'm saying, before you like, you know, really bring that vision into fruition. And for me, you know, I'm a go-getter. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna do it now. So when the opportunity was presented to me to like take over this restaurant space, I was like, oh, that's a no-brainer, right? And then, you know, the operational, I mean, the startup cost was cheap, right? Because, you know, here in the States, you need about $250,000, you know what I'm saying, to put together a nice restaurant. But I started that restaurant with like 20 grand, right?
Wow.
And, you know, it was a no-brainer because it was a Nigerian restaurant in an East African country, right? And if you speak to, you know, a lot of East Africans, they'll tell you like a lot of the food that we were serving, they only saw like in movies, right? Nigerian movies.
What?
Yeah. So, and then I added like, you know, a different spin to, you know, our Nigerian food, because when you go to like a Nigerian restaurant here in the States, right? Like one of like the, you know, the forgive me, like a hole in the wall Nigerian restaurant, right? Where like it's in the hood somewhere of like Inglewood, right? And you go in there and they're not even dressed presentably, and you know, but like I put like a more modern twist to it, right? The bar was nice. I was inspired by like my travels to like, you know, Paris, Sweden, and other countries. And then, you know, the way we plated our food was better too. It was more presentable. Like it was Instagram worthy, you know. 'Cause you go to a Nigerian restaurant here, it's just on a plate, right? It's just like,
tell me some of the Nigerian foods we should.
Yeah, what kind of
like,
dishes do you?
I don't know about Nigeria. I don't know anything about them.
So one of the popular Nigerian dishes is jollof rice. I'm pretty sure you heard of the jollof rice.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And right now, well, I think it's petty.
Is it yellow? Is it that yellow one kind of?
It's orange.
Orange.
Yeah, orange. It's really good. And I mean, right now, you know, Ghanaians, Nigerians, Liberians, Cameroonians, there's like this jollof war, like who has the best jollof rice.
There's a legit war on social media.
Yeah.
Who's best rice?
Yeah, I didn't know.
Yeah. Who has the best jollof rice?
Because you know, Haitians have pois and
But we don't have rice like that. We just have the regular.
it's
The mushroom rice is the one that's really.
the Haitian mushroom rice. But what's in yours? Okay.
It's just plain rice. So I mean, they mix it with like tomatoes, onions. It just depends, but it turns out red. But I mean, I think that whole debate is kind of like whack, because you know jollof rice originated in Senegal. So if you're gonna say anybody, you know, has the best jollof rice, just give it to the originators, you know.
The originator.
I didn't know it started there.
It started in Senegal. But I mean, I've had Ghanaian jollof rice, and I think it's amazing. You know, I've had Nigerian jollof rice; it's amazing. You know, Cameroonian. You know, like I think all jollof rice is good.
So what are some of the other dishes? Because you know, I know Haitian do very well, and I guess you get little touches of different.
Yeah. So we have like man, JC Bits is on it. So Gary. So there's this we call it a swallow. It's called eba, right? And it's like in a ball, and I forgot what it's made of, but it's really good. And we eat it with like different stews. Like we have this one stew called egusi that's really popular.
Okay.
It's like grounded melon seed with spinach, and then you know.
Wait, stop. Grounded melon seeds.
Yeah, grounded melon seeds. So like the seeds are like a melon, not watermelon, but like they're like yellow seeds, right? And you grind them up,
Right.
and then you mix them in the stew.
Like pumpkin seeds or something like that.
I'm sorry.
Like pumpkin seeds.
Well, they look like pumpkin seeds. I'm not sure what melon they're from, to be honest with you.
Melon, yeah,
Oh, no, it's from.
So you take them out, you dry them.
Yeah. And then you grind them. So somebody just said they came from Gary is from cassava. Yeah, thank you for that.
Cassava from Gary.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Then we have pounded yam, which is really popular. So it's like the white dough that you see probably a lot, and you eat it with different stews as well. Like 100 ethnic groups in Nigeria. So I mean, we eat a lot of different things.
So are you? I mean, you cook it like at the restaurant. You were cooking these dishes, or you had chefs?
No. So what's crazy is like I wanted to give people like the authentic Nigerian food. So I flew my aunt from Nigeria to Uganda, and she was my chef, and she taught all the local chefs that I hired how to make the food.
Oh,
that's amazing!
Wow.
Yeah.
That is crazy. So now, do you go back and forth? So, what are you doing? You live in the States, but then you go to Seattle, and then you go to
Getting ready.
Yeah. So right now, well, for the past 2 years, I haven't been back to the continent, right? But our presence is still felt because we have teams in all the countries where we do work in. Okay. So when my son was born, obviously traveling out the country was a no-go, right? I had to be here. So when it came time to like, you know, distribute the AfriPads that we give out, my team, you know, they picked them up from the warehouse, you know, and they distributed on my behalf. But next year in February, I'm actually going to Kigali, Rwanda, which is another East African country. Right. And my nonprofit Cornerstone and my skincare brand, we're going to partner, and we're going to basically help. There's a school in Kigali, Rwanda called Peace and Hope Initiative, and the founder, his name is Albert, really amazing guy. He's a survivor of the 1994 genocide.
Yeah,
He's a
wow.
survivor. So the government gave him land when he was about, I want to say like 19 or 20, and he built a school so that the children of other survivors could, have free education.
Mhm.
And I met him in 2016 when I was in Rwanda for work, and he was like, any help you can give, I'm open to it. So God has placed it on my heart to help him. So right now he has over 300 kids going to the school, and
Okay.
they only have 10 classrooms.
Wow.
So it's like really cramped, and all the kids are going to school for free because there's nobody that can afford it. So he's providing free education, free school uniforms. He's paying the teachers, But right now there's like some land around the school, right, that he wants to buy. That we're going to try to raise the money for, so we can expand the school. Right now they don't have any computers either, and we all know that internet is how we basically communicate with the outside world.
Right.
So our plan now is to raise money to buy this land, expand the school, build a nice quality computer lab so the kids can have access to computers, and just help them as much as we can, because even though I didn't finish school, right, I still believe that education is important, especially in African countries where entrepreneurship is not really a way out, right? It's more so graduating, getting a degree, and trying to find a good job, So I believe education is really important. So basically, next year, February, we're going to go there and, kind of scope out everything that needs to be done and do as much as we can to build that addition and provide everything he needs. And
That's great. Yeah, that's great. Now, is there power on the land? I mean, do you have to provide additional power?
No, they have power in Rwanda. They have power.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I mean, they have power, but I'm saying some locations you don't have power. You either have it.
Oh, no, yeah. No, they're still within the city limits, so they have, like, good power, yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I mean, you are a Superman. You're so inspiring. I got to make sure my time. Yeah, we're getting up to. Can you believe it's been like an hour?
It doesn't even feel like an hour at all.
I know. It goes so fast.
Yeah.
But so how do people get in touch with you and getting your products and all of that? How do we do all those things?
So my personal Instagram handle is Sam Desalu, and the business page is Desalu Naturals. And I mean, definitely feel free to DM me, ask questions. Because one thing we're gonna start doing again too next year, we're gonna start back our volunteer trips, and because we give people the opportunity to come and volunteer with us on ground. And we not only volunteer, but we also show them the beauty of Africa, because the media has done such a good job to, cast this negative, cloud over Africa, but what we do as a diaspora, we show you the beauty of Africa, because you won't believe it or not, there's so many non-Africans living in Africa, and you have to wonder why.
Been there many times.
Yeah, because Africa is beautiful, but you have people that want to kind of deter you from coming. And, they want to keep it to themselves, because believe it or not, you could buy land, like an acre of land, depending on what part, for like $300, right? So imagine if our people knew about that, the amount of people that would go back, and invest in Africa, because Africa's the future. And I could guarantee it, because all these tech companies are going to Africa, setting up headquarters. Twitter in Ghana, Microsoft and Google are looking at, Kigali, Rwanda. Africa now has a basketball league, and it's actually based in Kigali, Rwanda. So Africa has always been the future, but people are now seeing it, and I thank God.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely the place to be.
Well, I got to tell you, I love South Africa, I'm just saying this. I hope Instagram doesn't get mad at me or anything, but with the way things are going right now, and with people coming against Black pastors, they don't want them in the courts, and just all the things going on. And I've started wondering if we just should think about other places, at least have a second home. I love the United States, so I'm not going to say I don't, but I think we do need to look at other things in other places. So you've opened my eyes to a few things, and I'm going to be dreaming about these sanitary napkins. I got to tell you,
it's really good.
That's great work, and some things that I think I've taken for granted.
Yeah, I mean, we take a lot of things here for granted in the States, and you don't really realize it until you go to these countries and you see, like, wow, like, I'm blessed. Like, when my mom sent me back to Nigeria, you know, like, before, you know, my mom, hot water on demand, right? Showers, like, on demand. But when I got to Nigeria and I was living with my grandmother, like, I had to fetch buckets of water to bathe, to wash clothes, to flush the toilet, to cook. So it's not until you're put in a position to where you realize, like, wow, we're really blessed, you know, like, no matter what you're going through here in the States, there's somebody in a third world country going through something way worse, because, you know, they're not giving out stimulus checks in Nigeria. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no tax refund.
That's what I said. I love the United States. I'm not, as he says, giving up. I'm not giving up. I think that we just have to stretch our minds that there's a lot of other things out there. Like, I'm not saying leave the U.S., but I think, I know when I started visiting other countries, it really expanded the way I thought, and also marrying a man from another country
well, you know, I
opened
think
me up, I think.
Part of it is, you know, you need to have to say, I need to fight for what I have.
Right.
Right. So it's really taking a stand and say no.
Yeah.
A lot of blacks have given a lot to build this country, and it's time to take a stand. Say no, we're not giving it up.
Yeah.
But tell me about your philanthropic company, your nonprofit. You said it was called Cornerstone. Okay.
Yes. So Cornerstone Foundation. Yeah. So I'm actually, you know, still developing the website because we're going to launch next year. But we are 501c3. The Instagram handle is Cornerstone Foundation, so you can find us on social media. That's where we're going to post like updates about everything we're doing. But I'm really excited. Like, you know, I'm even planning our first gala next year.
Either way,
to raise even more funds, because what I want to do is, like, I want to utilize, you know, all the connections I've made, you know, in my years of just doing entrepreneurship work. There's a pastor that I follow. His name is Mike Todd, and he kind of
absolutely
crazy faith, yeah. And right now, he made me realize, like, you know, through my years of just serving and giving back and being a good person, like, I've sown a lot of seeds into people's lives, right? And, you know, for me, 2021, 2022 has been harvest season. And not in a way where it's like, you know, I'm taking all this for myself, but I've been able to give back more. And, you know, I want to be able to give more, right? So I want to be able to utilize my contacts in the industry, fashion, music, and art, and get people to come together to give back to those in need.
Yes.
That's amazing.
I think that's great. Well, we've just fallen in love with you and what you're doing, and we're definitely going to get the products.
Thank you so much.
Amazon, because I always shop on Amazon.
Yeah.
Really. So
and we love the way you're taking care of your baby.
Oh, thank you. He's
Uh-oh.
I'm here, but he's knocked out.
He's happy.
Baby.
He's happy.
Thank you so much for
thank
talking
you.
with us.
No, thank you.
Let's keep in touch.
Tell
We
your
will.
wife we said hi. We look forward to meeting her in the future.
I will.
Okay.
I will.
Thanks. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
God bless.
Bye.
Hello.
What's
Thank
up?
you so much for watching Carfitable
Yes,
Talks.
thank you.
Please remember to press that like button, and we need you to subscribe. And also,
Leave some comments. We need to hear from you.
thank you.